This is an Indiewire article, and it says the streaming series that could keep broadcast TV afloat this fall. And you might ask yourself, why are they talking about broadcast TV in the context of the streaming wars? And it says, with Tell Me a Story and Swamp Thing, which I think you might be interested in that, Dave, if you hadn't heard about this. But Tell Me a Story and Swamp Thing headed to the CW, could streaming series help save the broadcast TV season? And this article talks about how multiple broadcast TV networks are currently looking at their streaming partners for quote unquote new content. Because while it's not exactly new, it is new for broadcast TV. And many of the big players, many of the larger channels, they have a streaming sister company. So for instance, they talk about ABC. And of course, their parent company is Walt Disney. Their streaming affiliations are Disney Plus and Hulu. So is there a potential for The Mandalorian to come to ABC? Is there a potential for High School Musical, the musical, and the series to come out on ABC? They also talk about CBS, and their parent company is Viacom. Is it possible that we might see The Good Fight, which, by the way, I'm not familiar with The Good Fight, but also Star Trek Picard? Could we see Star Trek Picard on the broadcast CBS network? There's some talk about this.
Let's not see it. Let's not see it. I don't want to watch it again.
Well, if the aim is to get more viewers, they might have a problem. But if they just want new content, quote unquote, that might be a good move. NBC parent company is, of course, Comcast. Their affiliate is Peacock. Peacock is available for Comcast subscribers. As soon as it's available for the rest of us, I plan to start checking it out. But I think as of this point, it's still only available for Comcast subscribers. But potential acquisitions there are Mad About You and Brave New World, which I don't know a lot about those shows, but those are some shows that potentially they're saying could be featured on the NBC broadcast network. And then the last thing this IndieWire article does is they give their own power ranking as of May 17, 2020, and they give Netflix the edge, which I would agree with. I think Netflix is definitely the dominant player. They are the one to beat. Everybody wants to be Netflix. Number two, they list as Disney Plus. And I think I'm pretty much there with them that Disney Plus is well positioned, especially with Hamilton. So I kind of give the edge to Disney Plus as well as number two because of what they're doing with Hamilton. Surprisingly, they give number three to Hulu. And I don't know if I agree with that because they give number four to Amazon Prime. I'd probably put Amazon Prime higher than Hulu. I'm not sure if I would put Hulu even in the top five. I'm just not sure about that. And then surprisingly, they give number five to HBO Max, when HBO Max hasn't even come out yet. And that might be on the strength of all this buzz with things like the Snyder Cut and things like that coming out. So it's a kind of interesting position we see the different streaming platforms in right now. But Dave, backing up a little bit, what do you think about some of these shows coming to their broadcast affiliates?
Anything that takes Swamp Thing and introduces it to a larger audience, I think makes a lot of sense. Swamp Thing was really good, what I saw of it. It's a great character. And it was just a really interesting show because it was kind of psychological, but it was horror. It was really good. So I could totally see where Swamp Thing looks like a really interesting choice to take, and then fill some of these programming holes that they have with for broadcast television. A lot of these shows make a lot of sense, and then there's a lot of other things that are available that no one's talking about. Like I thought that Stargirl was supposed to be on CW, yet Stargirl actually launched either yesterday or day before yesterday on DC Universe. And then there's other shows that are available on DC Universe that are still there to tap. Doom Patrol was really good. A little mixed on Titans, but Doom Patrol could be great on, as a part of the CW as well. So, or, on another network where it could find a larger audience. There's a lot of these shows that have been kind of segregated weirdly to sort of some of the streaming services and haven't had a chance to really catch on. Swamp Thing has the potential to catch on in a big way. Doom Patrol has the potential to catch on in a good way. Good Fight's actually a show I'm interested in actually checking out. I haven't seen any of that yet. But the teasers are really interesting. So there's a lot of cool stuff that's on some of these streaming services that people could enjoy. Picard is not one of them. But anyhow, I'm excited for this because what it does is it takes something that's really great and gives it the potential to find a broader audience. Because Swamp Thing was a production that was mired by a lot of weird stuff. Like the area in which they were filming it, they lost their tax breaks, so they just shut Swamp Thing down. And Swamp Thing was really good. It should not have just been shut down the way that it was. And there's a lot of other great shows too that ended kind of abruptly because of weird, boneheaded business deals. When you look at shows like Punisher. Punisher was a really good show on Netflix. I don't know if it'd be suitable for broadcast television, but Punisher was really great, and it had its run cut kind of short because of a business decision, as did obviously Daredevil and Iron Fist and the rest of those shows. So I think that's a great idea.
Unfortunately, Netflix doesn't really have a broadcast affiliate. But if they were to acquire CBS Viacom, you might see that, which would be interesting. Although I'm sure there's some issues right now with the rights with Disney and that whole situation. But still, that's a potential situation. If Netflix was to acquire CBS Viacom, that might happen. You never know. We'll just have to see. Of course, a big part of this is how long are these productions going to still be delayed? Because that's the problem right now, is that the broadcast channels are starving for content. And right now, that content is available on their streaming affiliates. So I think this is an interesting idea. Obviously, it's already happening with Swamp Thing. So that's a go. That's going to happen. It's going to be on the CW. So we'll see if any of the broadcast networks, or the other ones, I should say, because CW is doing this. We should see. It'll be interesting to see if any of the other broadcast networks decide to delve into that streaming library of their streaming affiliate and put some of that content out there. I think it would be a good move. I really do. And I like it too, because I'm a big advocate of free TV. I have an antenna. I don't have cable. So I would think it would be kind of nice to have some of this streaming content available on broadcast television. I thought it was weird that Star Trek Picard didn't have its pilot on CBS, because Discovery did. And I thought that was really strange. I thought that was an odd move. And maybe that has something to do with just how bad the show is. I don't know. But, that's just speculation on my part. But, that I thought it was kind of a weird move. I think they should have at least put the premiere on the broadcast network to get buzz and all that kind of stuff, and then hook people in to getting CBS All Access. From a business standpoint, that seems to make sense to me. But maybe it didn't work for Discovery. Maybe that's the bottom line. Like for Discovery, they didn't feel like it really helped them. I don't know. That's pure speculation on my part.
Well, I'll just say this: I didn't care for the very first, the premiere episode of Discovery. There was some things I liked about it and some things I didn't like about it. I'm obviously a fan of season 2 more than season 1, but I think the reason they didn't with Picard, I mean, I could be wrong, but Picard didn't have any real. Picard, at the end of the day, to me, wasn't really much of a Star Trek show. And at least Discovery had the trappings of a classic Star Trek show, even though it wasn't one. You know what I mean? In terms of they
No, I do know what you mean, because at least Discovery, it's a Starfleet crew on a Starfleet ship, as opposed to the motley crew BS that Picard is. Yeah. You know what I mean? So
it had a big epic space battle. It had Michelle Yeoh in there, who's a well-known actress. I mean, I could understand with this, the premiere of Discovery, and them hoping it would hook people to come over to CBS All Access. And I still have my subscriptions in CBS All Access. With Picard, I just feel like Picard was they went so far out of their way to not have Picard be a classic or whatever Star Trek show. In a weird sense, to me, it made sense that they didn't put it on broadcast television, because it just wasn't really a Star Trek show at all anymore in my mind. It was something else.
Yeah, I agree with you.
It wasn't good.
So, but But I do think it's interesting. I think that the idea of taking some of the streaming content, again, because I'm an advocate of free TV, ad-based television, we're promoters also of those ad-based streaming services like Tubi, like Crackle. That's why we've been doing the quarantine stream specials to showcase content that you can find for free. And that goes for the broadcast networks as well. We did a review of Battlestar Galactica in large part because it was coming back to broadcast TV on Comet, which I watch Comet. So these are good moves, and I think that in some ways they're no-brainer moves. But we'll see if that actually happens, because the gamble there is, are they taking away the premium nature of the streaming service by putting these shows on the broadcast channel? So that is a gamble. That is a gamble.
Yeah, but with, like, for example, like Swamp Thing, I don't think they are, because Swamp Thing is still technically still canceled. There is no more Swamp Thing.
But they could put that on. But they could put that on HBO Max.
Right? Yeah, they could put
that on HBO Max,
and there's rumor of it, but there's still no real. I'm not hearing they're even going to do it. I think that's all just rumor and speculation. But if they put it on to broadcast television and it catches on with an audience, and they go, "Oh, this has got potential," maybe it could show up on HBO Max. That would be really cool. That's what I'm saying, is that this creates an opportunity for some of these great shows that, for one reason or another, are finding themselves in a weird situation. It gives them the potential to maybe show that they can be that big hit. They can be that breakout thing. They can connect with people. And then hopefully the studios will invest and go, okay, well, there's potential here. Let's see what else we can do with this, because I think a season 2 of Swamp Thing makes great sense. Well,
on the other hand,
go ahead.
Well, I was going to say, on the other hand, I've been an advocate of getting some of these old pilots and things like that and putting them on the streaming channels. Like we're talking earlier about the Wonder Woman pilot that never saw the light of day. Why not clean that up and put it on a streaming channel? Or even, I don't know, you could even do a broadcast show, an anthology show that just shows old pilots. That stuff is all just sitting around, could be cleaned up, and then you could actually have a show with those. I think that'd be interesting.
There's that, and that's what I was talking about previously when we were talking streaming wars. I've always talked about the potential that the streaming wars represents, and what all this, these different streaming platforms, how they could take different content and view it and use it in a different way, because it just has way more potential than what's been realized so far.